All right, social media. Welcome. I hope that this is making it out there. We've uh, we've made the commitment to transition to StreamYard from Vimeo, and after some research and now testing, this seems a lot more effective in reaching all the social platforms at once compared to our previous method. So I hope this is coming to you. And today, thank you to Brenda. We're going to dive right into what couldn't be more timely, and that is navigating politics, religion, and relationships. This is creating what's happening in the world today, some extraordinary activity on our social media platforms and our algorithms, particularly with regard to um, what's happening in the Middle East and what we're seeing by way of reactions from all kinds of groups. Um, I was, yeah, thank you, Jess. I just got an update that we're working on all platforms. This is terrific. Um, I had a discussion with a couple of people this morning close to me regarding something I've been mulling over, and I'll share it with you. Um, I have a sense that, and I've said this in a number of ways, I'm now going to say it a little differently. I think that socials and AI are breaking the need, particularly in our young people, for any relationship because it is replacing relationships. People now can engage AI as if it were a person. They can engage content on social media and engage with other people in ways that cause a lot less personal discomfort than ordinary relationship development can produce. And I think we're seeing droves of people completely content with engaging other people in the same constricted way that social media has enabled them to engage the world, um, which is something heavy to think about. That relationship is actually being replaced. Um, the need for relationship, the need for interpersonal contact, the frequency of interpersonal contact. I had a friend of mine just get back from London and tell me their observation when moving around the not only London proper but the surrounding area. Um, uh, People were on their phones far less than. I got to get rid of this toothpick. Another good friend of mine said the toothpick is terribly distracting. Sorry. Um, uh, People were on their phones much less out in community. Young people, people in pubs were engaging one another eyeball to eyeball. People in restaurants on their devices much less. I don't know if that's a shared view of the culture in Great Britain compared to the United States, uh, but that was theirs, and I thought that that was profoundly interesting because I live in the greater Seattle area where there's extraordinary um, polarity among groups of people on a variety of topics, people getting particularly outspoken uh, about their viewpoint to the extent that they're bumping right up against the edge of violence and in some cases transgressing that. Um, so I have never seen topics other than politics and religion stimulate that much animation. So I thought it appropriate, and so did Brenda, to talk about that now. It's been certainly my anecdotal experience and the experience of many of my friends. It's like the Mike Tyson claim can go. Everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And I'm not proposing that people get punched in the face to change their worldview. But I will say this: without good relationship skills, without good communication skills, I think our world is going to progressively become more violent, because it's entirely conceivable to become so captivated by an idea, a cause, that I become willing, without having any regard for relationship, to transgress boundaries, to constantly push boundaries and social norms. Has anyone ever seen violence so normalized compared to now? Violence is getting normalized. This is not good. And it's not going to stop by people reacting in kind. I'm sorry. I've worked in too many places where that has been attempted, and it has never brought about peace and relationship and togetherness and unity. It's only brought about um, group opposition, resentment, and plans to carry out harm on other people. And I've been in some of the most violent places, not only in our state, but in the nation, to observe that directly. So if you have a different opinion, you're certainly entitled to that. Mine has been forged in the experience of people going to the hospital, normally at the hands of another human being, a few times a week. So I've witnessed it happen in real time. To engage politics and religion is no different than engaging other topics when the priorities are in order. And what's the priority in religion or politics or any topic when we want to engage someone about the topic? It is to confer the notion that we are present and that we are fully seeing and hearing another human being before we get to any healthy debate about ideas. If there isn't a fundamental commitment where someone starts and models the ability to listen without interrupting, the ability to consider someone else's viewpoint without interrupting, as opposed to, well, yes, but you don't understand, or stop if someone shows intolerance to another human being. This is interesting. I can actually see likes and engagement now. This is terrific. This is much better software than the previous software. So, what are the relationship skills? Well, there's something to be learned from what we know in crisis de-escalation. If I have a responsibility to respond to people who are presenting stress, discontrol, dysregulation, if I have a responsibility to lead that person to a more composed and regulated state of being, so that containment procedures or the need to coerce or force behavior can be avoided, what are the principles we use? Well, we start all of our interactions, whether it's life and death stakes or less than that, with letting the other person know that they're seen, heard, and understood. And why is it that we would want to do that? We're interested in messaging to their nervous system that the need for them to animate themselves on the basis that they may not be getting heard is not necessary. We want to provide feedback to the nervous system that they're seen, heard, and understood. And if we're able to do that, we begin to stimulate neurobiological functions that enable someone to potentially calm down. Does that mean I have to let someone know that they're seen, heard, and understood, even if I don't agree with them? Yeah, because you can do that without agreeing. Somewhere we have made the mistake of equating, in some cases, active listening to agreement with what someone else is doing. I hear you saying that there are nanobots coming out of the shower head. I can completely appreciate that that's alarming to you. That doesn't mean that I also see the nanobots coming out of the shower head, but it lets someone know that they're seen, heard, and understood with regard to nanobots coming out of the shower head. Andy, do you actually say that to someone who's experiencing hallucination? Certainly. Why? I want to let their nervous system know that I'm not here to block a goal or violate an expectation. I'm here to just be present with them in the space and potentially lead them to a greater state of diversity of thought and expression. When we get into religion and politics, These are very, very personal, um, existential categories of thought to people. And I don't know about you. I'm 57 now. I'll be 57 actually. And I've never seen more people in my community, more people in the workplace, more people in my family network engaging in conversations about politics and religion. Now, I think a lot of this is due to the technology and the fact that we are more networked and connected electronically than we've ever been. Um, Maybe you agree. I don't know. But it's certainly been my observation that these topics are creating discussion content. And sometimes the discussion is not good. The discussion can be critical of other human beings. It can be insensitive to other human beings within the social network or the family system. And for what it's worth, um, without without awareness of the relationship component to the topic itself, we're going to have problems if we don't make as much of a priority, or not, maybe even a greater priority, a commitment to peaceful relation with another human being first. And it has to start somewhere. In other words, one might contend, well, shouldn't the other person do that? Well, yeah, the other person should, but if you're the one that's aware of it, how about you start? How about you be the one that demonstrates to someone that they're seen, heard, and understood before you get into your idea? And then, if in the course of the dialogue you want to begin asserting what you think and you're getting blocked off by naivete or insensitivity, you can move the conversation from the content to the process itself. You know, I see you holding your hand up and saying that you don't want to listen. I appreciate that. I've spent the last 10 minutes trying to demonstrate to you that I care about what you have to say, and I've listened very carefully. It would really be great if we could share in that process. Would you be willing to listen to me without interruption for a few minutes? That way, maybe we able to have a meaningful conversation. Um, to be able to pivot off of the substance and get to a discussion immediately about the content, to do what? To prioritize the relationship, to prioritize what's happening in the moment. If someone who requires de-escalation is animated about some issue to them, or an issue about respect that someone didn't show them, or a medication they don't want to take, or a voucher that was just declined, or someone thinks that they're something that they're not. It's not unusual for the initial strategy to absolutely be, hey, look, I totally appreciate that this is going on right now. I hear you engaging me and everyone around you, screaming your head off, and it's super loud and it's super arousing. Would you be willing to come over here just for a minute and just talk to me in a lower volume about your issues so I can hear you? That way, maybe we can make some progress on it. If we're able to do that, I think we're going to be better able to engage these topics, particularly around religion and politics, more conveniently. So, what's the takeaway from today's short live? When navigating politics or religion, it isn't the substance that's at issue when it comes to people being aversive with one another. It's the priority of relationship, or as the great Scott Tillema would say, connection, to connect with another human being first. You're not going to be able to do that um, unless you make it a priority, because your nervous system is being sent impulses from another human being that relationship is unimportant. Their substance, their agenda, their point that they want to make is important. And um, I have to hold space for that, independent of whatever my needs are, so that I have an opportunity to get my needs met, to be heard, which may be, if I have to de escalate, if I have to actually engage someone around politics and religion to engage the substance a little more collaboratively, I'm going to have to deal with the process of the conversation before I even deal with the content of whatever it is. So no matter what the faith-based relationship is that the person holds, or their political affiliation, or their religious identity, we have to be willing to talk about the process in the moment of talking about the religious identity or the faith. What's the process? If we prioritize the relationship and the process as much as the content, I think we're going to have much better conversations. Normally, I go about 20 minutes with these things, but I'm really excited to see what the outcome was. I want to thank you for joining us on Navigating Politics and Religion in Relationships. Prioritize relationship. Be the change you want to see. These conversations will get easier over time. Take good care, and thanks for joining us on this live.